you are eating right now, or you were recently. Maybe it was something quick, something wrapped, something processed, something pulled from a bag or a box, and you probably did not think twice about it. But here is the thing. The food in that bag has almost nothing to do with what your body was built to eat. And the gap between what your ancestors actually put in their mouths and what you are eating today is so enormous, so wild, so completely alien to your biology that it changes how you understand hunger itself. Before there were grocery stores, before there were farms, before there were even villages, your ancestors ate. Every single day for nearly 300,000 years. They figured it out. No recipe, no refrigerator, no guarantee. And what they found, what they hunted, what they dug up and cracked open and chewed raw beside a fire, that food is the reason you are alive right now. So what did they actually eat? The honest answer is stranger than anything a nutrition label could tell you. Start with this. Your body is approximately 300,000 years old in design. Agriculture, the planting of crops, the herding of animals, the entire system that built civilization is only about 12,000 years old. That means for roughly 96% of human existence, nobody farmed anything. Nobody planted seeds in rows. Nobody waited for a harvest. Your ancestors woke up every morning with no food guaranteed and spent most of their waking hours solving that single problem. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard has spent decades studying the relationship between food and human evolution. His research suggests that the single most transformative moment in human dietary history was not agriculture, it was fire. Cooking, he argues, is what made us human. When early hominins began cooking food, somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago, they unlocked calories that raw food could not provide. Cooked meat is easier to chew. Cooked tubers release far more starch. Cooking made food denser, more digestible, and more efficient. And that caloric surplus, Wrangham argues, is what allowed the human brain to grow to its current enormous size. Your brain runs on roughly 20% of your body's total energy. That is an extraordinary expense. No other animal pays that price, and it only became possible because your ancestors started cooking things. But cooking is a technology. It comes later, before fire, before tools sharp enough to butcher large animals consistently. What then? Go back further, much further. Look at the earliest members of the genus Homo, before anatomically modern humans, before Neanderthals, before even Homo erectus. Look at what their teeth and bones tell us. Stable isotope analysis, a method that reads the chemical signatures locked inside ancient bone, reveals what a creature ate over the course of its lifetime. And what the bones say is this. Early hominins ate a wide range, a messy, opportunistic, whatever was available range of food. Roots, tubers, leaves, bark, insects, eggs, fruit when it was in season, meat when they could get it, bone marrow when they could crack it open, brain tissue from animals that something else had already killed. That last part tends to surprise people. Early humans were scavengers as much as hunters, possibly more. The image of a prehistoric man heroically bringing down a mammoth is largely a myth built by people who had never studied prehistoric people. The archaeological record tells a different story. Cut marks on ancient bones sometimes appear on top of tooth marks from large carnivores, meaning early humans arrived at a carcass after the lions were done with it. They took what was left, marrow mostly. Marrow is extraordinarily calorie-dense, protected inside bone, inaccessible to most predators without the right tools. Early humans had stones. They cracked bones open and ate what was inside. And that marrow, rich in fat and protein, may have been a critical brain-building food at a time when the human brain was rapidly expanding. Does this mean your ancestors were passive scavengers, waiting for scraps? No. The picture is more complicated and more interesting than that. They hunted too, but hunting before refined projectile weapons is extraordinarily difficult. Researcher David Carrier at the University of Utah has proposed what he calls the endurance predator hypothesis, the idea that early humans ran prey animals to exhaustion, not sprinting, running slowly, persistently, for hours, across open savanna in midday heat. Modern humans are among the best long-distance runners in the animal kingdom, built for it in ways almost no other creature is. Our upright gait, our ability to sweat, our lack of thick fur. We are biological persistence hunters. We chased things until they could not run anymore. Then we walked up and killed them. Think about that the next time your legs hurt on a long run. That burn is ancient. That capacity is the reason your lineage survived. But meat, even with persistence hunting, was not the daily reality for most prehistoric people most of the time. Plants were. Plants are predictable. Plants do not run. Tubers, roots, and underground storage organs in particular were critical. Researcher Amanda Henry at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology analyzed dental calculus, hardened plaque on ancient teeth, and found starch granules from cooked plant material embedded in the teeth of Neanderthals. Neanderthals, the creatures we dismissed for a century as brutish meat eaters, were cooking plants, were eating grains and roots, were more like us than we wanted to admit. The plants your ancestors ate were not the plants in your grocery store. Wild plants are bitter, tough, dense. The cultivated carrot you buy today is a completely different object from its ancestor, bred over centuries to be sweeter, softer, larger, milder. The same is true of virtually every crop plant that exists. Agriculture did not just change how humans got food, it changed the food itself. It made food easier. It made food sweeter and more calorie-dense and less fibrous. And your body, your 300,000-year-old body, has never fully adapted to that shift. Consider fiber. Researchers studying the gut microbiome have found that hunter-gatherer populations today, the Hadza of Tanzania, the Tsimane of Bolivia, consume somewhere between 100 and 150 grams of dietary fiber per day. The average American consumes around 15. Pre-agricultural humans almost certainly ate similar amounts to modern hunter-gatherers, meaning your gut, your immune system, your microbiome was shaped by a level of plant fiber intake that almost nobody in the industrialized world comes close to anymore. And the variety, that is the other thing. Anthropological studies of modern hunter-gatherer diets have cataloged over 800 distinct plant species consumed across different populations worldwide. 800! The modern Western diet derives the vast majority of its calories from fewer than 20 crops. Your ancient gut was built for variety. It got variety. It does not get variety anymore. Seasonality was another reality your ancestors could not escape. There was no such thing as strawberries in January. There was no such thing as bananas flown in from another continent. You ate what the season offered, and when a season ended, that food disappeared. Your brain adapted to this. Your brain developed a particular hunger for calorie-dense foods, fats, sugars, because those foods were rare and seasonal and needed to be consumed as much as possible when they appeared. Ripe fruit was a gift. Honey was extraordinary. Fat from a hunted animal was precious. Your brain still responds to these things the way it always has. It lights up. It wants more. It tells you to keep eating past fullness, because past fullness is how your ancestors survived lean seasons. You are not weak for craving sugar. You are not broken for overeating fat. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do in an environment that no longer exists. And then there is water. Or rather, the absence of clean water as a daily certainty. Your ancestors drank from rivers, streams, and seasonal pools. They ate water, too. Wild plants and fresh animal tissue hold significant moisture. Dehydration was a real and constant risk. Your intense, almost irrational sensitivity to thirst is not anxiety, it is calibration from millions of years of environments where water was never guaranteed. The picture that emerges from all of this is not a simple one. There is no single prehistoric diet. There was no one way early humans ate, because early humans lived across dozens of different environments: savanna, forest, coastline, Arctic tundra, and each environment demanded a different solution. Coastal populations ate shellfish and fish and seaweed. Arctic populations ate almost entirely fat and animal protein. Tropical forest populations ate enormous quantities of fruit and insects and plant material. Human beings are not adapted to one diet.
Human beings are adapted to flexibility, to improvisation, to eating almost anything and surviving. That flexibility is your inheritance. It is also your complication. Because when your environment offers you everything at once, when every calorie-dense food that your ancestors only encountered rarely is now available constantly, cheaply, in unlimited quantity, that flexibility becomes a liability. The system that kept your lineage alive for hundreds of thousands of years is now running in a world it was not built for, and it is confused. You feel that confusion every time you reach for something you know you should not eat, and eat it anyway. Every time you finish a meal and still feel hungry. Every time you crave something you cannot name. That is not weakness. That is your body speaking a language that is 300,000 years old, in a world that only started looking like this about a century ago. Tonight, when you open your refrigerator, you are looking at something your ancestors would not recognize.